We're at the corner of Clark and Addison. Wrigley Field, the site for Chicago Cubs baseball. On Comcast Sportsnet, the struggling Cubs try to right the ship as they host the Pittsburgh Pirates. It's Game 2 of this 3-game weekend series. Hi again, everyone. Along with Bob Brenly, I'm Len Casper. Believe it or not, the Cubs have yet to beat the Pirates this season. They're 0-4, and yesterday it was the Andrew McCutchen Garrett Jones show.
Well, certainly the Cubs pitchers need to figure out a way to get those two guys out, and even more importantly, keep the guys in front of them off base. 12 combined plate appearances for these two. Only 3 times did they come to the plate with nobody on base, and they took full advantage in the game yesterday.
It was the first time in 50 years the Cubs had allowed 2 players on one team in the same game to get 5 hits against them, and hopefully we don't see that for another 50 years. What we do hope to see today is more of the same from Aramis Ramirez.
He's starting to show some signs, Len. Very gradually driving the ball to the opposite field a little bit more. Some of the fly balls are now turning into line drives, being a little more selective at the plate. And when he did get a mistake pitch over the heart of the plate, he drilled it to left field for a double.
And the former Pirate with his first 2-hit game since opening day in Atlanta, and because of his efforts, he's back in that cleanup spot. Lou would love to leave him there if he can the rest of the year.
Well, you like some constancy from your 3, 4, 5 spots in the lineup, and unfortunately, because of the struggles of Ramirez and Derek Lee, he's had to kind of play musical chairs with those positions.
The pitching matchup is a rematch from May 4th in Pittsburgh. Paul Maholm got the better of Ryan Dempster in a 3-2 Pirates win.
Yeah, both pitchers gave up 2 home runs in the ball game. Unfortunately, Ryan Dempster gave up a 2-run bomb to go along with a solo blast. Maholm just 2 solo home runs. Got to keep the ball in the ballpark.
Dempster trying to end a 3-game losing streak, and the Cubs 1-3 to start this homestand. Try to even up this series. We'll have all the fun and frivolity of Wrigley Field, the Cubs and the Pirates coming up.
Don't go anywhere. Coming up is First Pitch on Comcast Sportsnet.
Is brought to you in part by Lexus, reinventing the vehicle that invented it all. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Member-owned means our reason for being is your well-being. Experience wellness everywhere. AT&T. See what's new from AT&T. Visit att.com for details. And by Southwest Airlines. Visit southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on.
And today's giveaway, the first 5,000 children through the gates received an exclusive Chicago Cubs plush bear from Build-A-Bear Workshop. We should say the first 5,002 kids are kids at heart. Got the Cubs plush bear. Well, overcast, the lights are on, and the wind is blowing in, so it's cool today. As we check in on the Cubs, or rather the Pirates Southwest starting lineup against Cubs right-hander Ryan Dempster. Iwamura, LaRoche, and McCutchen at the top. Jones, Ryan Church's first start in over a week, as he was hit by a pitch in a series last weekend. Domet, Clement at first, Cedeno, the former Cub, at short, and Paul Mahalam still seeking his first hit of the year.
Let's take a look at the Cubs defensively, brought to you by Jimmy John. Soriano, Bird, and Nady once again across the outfield today. Ramirez, Castro, Terrio, Lee will man the infield. Giovanni Soto doing the catching today for right-hander Ryan Dempster. Mentioned his last outing against these Pirates as you get a look at his season numbers. He hooked up against Paul Mahalam in that ball game, gave up a solo home run to Andy LaRoche in the first inning, a 2-run homer to Ryan Church in the sixth, and that was basically it. Dempster pitched a very good game other than those 2 pitches.
Chicago native Tony Randazzo will work the plate. Paul Nowert, Ryan Gorman, and Ted Barrett, the crew chief, on the bases. And struggling Aki Iwamura, who went 0 for 6 in the opener, leads it off and takes a fastball for a strike. He is 0 for his last 24. But John Russell's going to stick with him at the top of their lineup. That's high, 1-1. Dempster has lost 3 consecutive starts. What Lou would love today, because he said Carlos Zambrano probably will not be used after throwing a lot of pitches yesterday, as Dempster goes 8, Marmol pitches the 9th.
You know Ryan Dempster will be up for that challenge. Key is to keep his pitch count down early in the ball game to give Lou that option to pitch Dempster deep into the game.
A foul, and it's 3-2 on Iwamura. Dempster has been a guy who's gone very deep into games, at least 7 innings the last 5 times out. Payoff delivery is outside, ball 4. And it'll bring up Andy LaRoche. Dempster's outing was marred in Cincinnati by the home run to Joey Votto. Had a 3-2 lead in the 7th. Lou came out, decided to lead Dempster in, and on the next pitch, Votto hit a game-winning 3-run shot. Outside to Andy LaRoche. Another error yesterday. He's had some defensive issues. He did score twice offensively, but made the error, hit by a pitch, got hit by a foul ball in the dugout, and I guess he was also hit by a fungo ground ball in batting practice, so it was kind of a rough day for Andy LaRoche.
Yeah. Well, LaRoche, another one of those guys. I'm sure he's working very hard to improve his defense. We see him take his ground balls out here every day. But he's another guy for me. He's in the lineup because of his bat. Dangerous pull hitter. If you make mistakes from the middle of the plate in, he's got enough pop to take you deep to left field.
I think it's safe to say the Pirates have had a very strange start to their season. They're 15-20 overall. They had an all-time 7-game losing streak where they were outscored by 60 runs during that streak. They swept the Cubs last week, as Soto's going to go out and talk to Dempster. You talked yesterday about their penchant for scoring in the first inning, even though overall their offense has not been very good this year. The pitching staff hasn't been getting a lot of outs, but their starters pitch well against the Cubs, and when they have a lead, their bullpen tends to hold it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, a very underrated tail end of the bullpen.
Yeah.
Don't tell the closer, probably the the weakest arm of the three between Meek, Hanrahan, and then Dotel as the closer. Meek and Hanrahan have been outstanding against the Cubs this year.
All four, he's walked the first two. That's not the kind of start Ryan Dempster wanted. And here come McCutchen and Jones. The Land Rover high performance of the week yesterday. Andrew McCutchen became the first Pirate to have 5 or more hits and score 5 or more times since Rennie Stennett in 1975 went 7 for 7 against the Cubs.
To quote our buddy in the radio booth, Ron Santo, why does it always happen to us?
Strike on McCutchen.
If you're looking for a silver lining with McCutchen and Jones, the next two scheduled hitter, Ryan Dempster has held them in check throughout his career. They're combined 3 for 17 against Demps.
And a bloop out to right and a base hit. Another one for McCutchen. Tony Beasley's going to send Iwamura. LaRoche now at third, and the Pirates, who scored 3 in the opening inning yesterday, have struck first today, and still nobody out. And Andrew McCutchen is now 10 for 12 against the Cubs this season.
This is just a little flare, got jammed, muscled the ball out there into right field, pulled his hands in close to his body to try to get the barrel on it, and it's no secret that Xavier Nady can't throw out there in right field. He just lobs the ball back into the cutoff man. The Pirates are well aware of that, and no hesitation on the part of Tony Beasley, the third base coach, to wave Iwamura around third to score.
Jones coming off a career day. 5 hits, 5 RBIs, including the game-winning 3-run homer, and he pops it up. Starlin Castro makes a catch, so they get Jones a little over-eager, possibly, to drive in a run.
We talk all the time, Len, about starting pitchers, and especially the good starting pitchers. They usually struggle a little bit early in the ball game. So as an opposing offense, that should be your time to strike. Get out there before the starter has a chance to settle in and get comfortable on the mound, before he has a chance to figure out exactly where the strike zone is going to be today. And the Pirates have done a nice job of that this year. The first inning is by far their best offensive inning.
Church pinch hit yesterday, but this is his first start in 8 days. He was struck on the right wrist by a pitch a week ago Friday versus St. Louis, so this is his first start since then. And a check on the speedy McCutchen, who, oh, by the way, stole 2 bases yesterday as well.
He had a full box score in that ball game yesterday. Had numbers in every column.
And he faked towards second as Church took a strike. Soto was ready to fire.
This is always a tense situation for a catcher when you have a base stealer on over there at first base who wants to run, and a left-handed hitter at the plate blocking your view of that base runner. You can't really see if he starts for second base. You have to trust your teammates and your own bench to let you know when he's running.
Dempster walked the first 2 batters, and then McCutchen blooped a single to right to make it 1-0. Jones then popped out, and the 1-1 to Ryan Church. Fastball outer third, 1-2.
It's always a good way to slow down a running game. Get ahead of that next hitter and give yourself the possibility of pitching out. And when the pitcher on the mound falls behind the hitter, you don't want to pitch out, obviously, and risk another base on balls. But once you jump ahead in the count, you have that option of pitching out.
McCutchen not running, and the fastball is just outside. Church went after what probably was ball 3, but he's in protect mode at the moment. A little cooler today, 56. And a light breeze out of the north. Nothing really stands out positively except we're dry.
That's the good news.
That's always a good thing. Unlike in Denver, got a day-night doubleheader scheduled today as the Nationals and Rockies were rained out last night. There have been, I believe, 7 rainouts this year, and 3 of them have been in Colorado this week.
Starting to grow gills and web feet there at Coors Field.
Boy, the Cubs' luck has gone. They're going to be rained out all weekend, and they'll have to face Ubaldo Jimenez, who's supposed to pitch today. Mr. likes to work pretty quickly, but he's been unable to here with lots of traffic on the bases, and that one's ripped into the right field corner. LaRoche trots home. McCutchen's going to be able to score as Ryan Church knocks in 2 with a double, and it's 3-0. So the top 3 guys all got on base, and they all now have scored.
With McCutchen's speed, there's a good chance he scores from first base on this double anyway, but Tony Beasley was waving him around when he was about 2 steps around second base. If you've got a guy that has physical limitations out there defensively, it seems like every ball is hit in his direction. And as I mentioned just a few moments ago, the Pirates are well aware of Xavier Nady's throwing issues, and they have run the bases like their hair's on fire every time the ball is hit the right field.
Xavier, by the way, is making his 2nd consecutive start for only the 2nd time this year. The other time was in mid-April. He was not in the original lineup, but after chatting with Lou, he said, "I'm fine, I'm ready to go." So that's why he's in, and Tyler Colvin is not against the lefty Mulholland. 1 strike on Ryan Doman. Swung over the splitter, 0-2.
Paul Mulholland is a guy you normally want to put right-handed hitters on anyway. He has pretty good success against lefties, holding him to a .201 average in his career, while righties are hitting .299. So it seemed to make sense to get as many righties in there against Mulholland as possible.
Webster with a look at Church. Here's his 1-2, and he got him on the inside corner. Doman had no problem with that call by Tony Randazzo. 2 down.
Doman maybe looking for something off speed out over the plate. Got the sinker on the inside corner for a called strike 3. They really need to limit the damage. It's already been a tough top half of the first for Ryan Dempster and the Cubs, but they need to hold them right here at 3.
Jeff Clement swings and misses. He's playing first. Didn't start yesterday, but he did go 1 for 3 with an RBI off the bench. The Pirates were shut out in back-to-back games against the Reds before busting out and scoring 10 runs on a season-high 16 hits yesterday, and they have picked up right where they left off. Piece of Giovanni Soto, still 1-2. Ronnie Cedeno, the former Cub, is on deck. You see Clement has struggled anywhere, but all of his 3 home runs have been away from PNC Park. As Dempster on the 2-2 missed away, it's full 3-2.
And the problem Ryan is having right now is when he misses the strike zone, he's missing by such a wide margin that the Pirates hitters aren't tempted to chase those pitches. Just can't seem to find a good release point right now to get that ball in and around the strike zone.
The payoff pitch. Strike 3, so Dempster finally gets out of it, but those 2 walks to start it come back to haunt him. Cubs are coming up trailing by 3. Four yesterday after the Pirates got 3 in the first. Terrio, Bird, and Lee at the top. Ramirez, Soto, Soriano in the middle. Nady, Castro, Dempster at the bottom. And someone on our crew, could you pick up that bear for me? I sent it to you.
Pirates defense brought to you by Jimmy John's. Church, McCutcheon, and Jones across the outfield. LaRoche and Cedeno on the left side of the infield. Iwamura and Clement on the right side. Ryan Doma doing the catching today for left-hander Paul Mahalam.
He's ready to work against Ryan Terrio and deals a first pitch strike. I told him you can use the bear, just return it when you're done.
Bring it back.
I haven't seen it. Mahalam coming off his shortest start of the season as Church comes in and retires Ryan Terrio. Just 3 1/3 against St. Louis 6 days ago as Mahalam took the loss. But he did beat the Cubs in his previous start, 6 innings, 2 runs.
Mahalam, very similar to Tom Gorzolani in a lot of respects. He'll throw a tailing fastball away from the right-handed hitters. He'll throw an occasional cutter inside. There's a straight changeup and a slider. We'll mix in an occasional curveball, but basically a fastball, slider, changeup guy that tries to stay out of the middle of the plate, just like Tom Gorzolani.
One and nothing on Marlon Byrd. That's outside. 22 extra base hits, tied for second in the National League, and he has 58 doubles since the start of last year. It's third most in baseball. That's a strike. Marlin gives a lot of credit to former Cub Gary Varsho, who's now the bench coach of the Pirates. They were together in the Phillies system. So Varsho was Bird's mentor, made him a center fielder in the minors in 2001. Bird was a left fielder, and Varsho managed him at Reading. Varsho thought he could play center, and he was right.
Was he ever? He said he just watched his play at the corner outfield positions and said he always took a good line to the ball. He got great jumps, and usually if you can do that, you're going to find your way to center field.
Gary Varsho's son Dalton was taking batting practice about an hour and a half before the game, and he was doing some damage. Out into center. Cedeno can't quite get it, and Marlon Byrd has a hit. For whatever reason, when you're going well, those seem to drop for you, and that is the case for Marlon.
And when you're going well, it seems like you're squaring up a lot of pitches at the plate, and even when you get jammed, as Marlon does here with a fastball up and in, he's strong enough just to muscle it out there over the head of Ronnie Cedeno into shallow center field. That's when you know it's going good. When you're struggling, you can hit it right on the barrel and somebody does a somersault to make a play and retire you.
Derek's had a good homestand, 6 for 16, and he takes a curve for a strike. He and Alfonso Soriano are in a bit of a competition to see who can get to 300 career homers first. They both have 297. They are tied currently with Ricky Henderson for 127th on the all-time homer list. Slide step in the pitch and a fly ball down the right field line, out of play. Chuck Klein right at 300. Tim Salmon at 297. Pretty good company for Lee and Soriano.
A lot of homers.
Tells you how good Ricky Henderson was. Nobody thinks about the power. He hit almost 300 home runs. And a lot of them as a leadoff guy. Fly ball to center. Bird goes back to tag. McCutchen will get it back in quickly, and he threw a strike to Iwamura.
Different teams have different policies about fly balls to the outfield. If you're a runner at first base, I was always taught that you go back and tag. Once you see that the outfielder is clearly going to make the catch short of the fence, go back and tag up. Sometimes you can catch a guy backpedaling as he catches the ball in the outfield. Maybe put his head down after making the catch, and you can move up 90 feet. Organizations like their guys to go halfway just in case that ball is dropped. You can maybe pick up 180 feet rather than just one base, but no chance to run on McCutchen right there. It was a strike to second base.
Ramirez takes a strike right on the outside corner. Bob, when you get this deep into a season, a month and a half, it's a little more difficult to, raise your average 60 points with a 3 for 3. You really have to fight your brain, don't you? If you're a Aramis Ramirez, you're hitting 168. If you do the math, it can be pretty daunting.
You don't want to do the math. You just want to show up every day, try to put together good at-bats. Don't look at the scoreboard. Don't read the newspapers. Don't look at the stat sheet.
Foul tip, strike 2, 1-2.
Ramos himself said it earlier this year. He was coming to the plate trying to hit a 5-run home run with nobody on base. And when you fall into that mode where you feel like you've got to get 2 hits every time you go to the plate just to get your numbers back to respectability, that's when you press. That's when you swing at bad pitches, take good pitches, take each at bat on its own merit. Tell you what, though, you could probably count on one hand the number of hittable pitches that Aramis Ramirez has seen from the middle of the plate in this season. Opposing teams just working him away, away, away. When they do come in, it's usually just to show for effect to set up the next pitch away. That time an elevated fastball, fouled back. Until Rami proves he can drive that ball the other way consistently, that's what's going to force other teams to come back inside on him once again, and that's when he'll start to drive the ball to left field.
Harlem with a good look at Bird. The pitch is low, and now Marlin will get a head start with 2 outs. Soto's on deck. Gio was at the bottom of the order to start the season. He's moved up to 5 after a very strong start. He hit 8th on opening day. There goes Bird, and Ramirez strikes out, and that's the inning. 1-out single by Bird, no runs. After 1, the Pirates lead the Cubs 3-0.
It's a no-hitter! A no-hitter!
That was 50 years ago today. Don Cardwell in his first start as a Chicago Cub with a no-hitter. Don was a wonderful guy. He passed away a couple of years ago, but we had him up here in the booth at least one time. We're talking with Don at the Cubs convention about that no-hitter.
What a great way to endear yourself to your new teammates after being traded. Come in and throw a no-no your first time out.
No doubt. Cedeno pops it up. Starlin Castro underneath. It's game 2 of a doubleheader against the St. Louis Cardinals. Richie Ashburn, the Cubs' leadoff man. Bunch of zeros over there on the Cardinals side. One strike on the pitcher, Mahalam. Make it 0-2. Make it 0-3. Struck him out. It's 3 for Dempster. Want to see a Cubs game from the front row at Wrigley Field? Now you can. Visit Cubs.com. Click on the CBOE front row auction to bid on tickets in the very front row behind home plate and along the first base line. Front row seats will be auctioned off to every game all season long. Miss your chance? Go to Cubs.com and check out the CBOE front row auction today. Iwamura started the game with a walk. And would come around to score. High on a fastball, 2-2.
Iwamura's taken some funny looking hacks in this series already. You mentioned 0 for 6 in the ball game yesterday, and he was inventing swings up there at the plate. A little bit of the old Kosuke Fukudome spinorama going on.
That is a deep fly to right field. Nady is back, and he's going to make the catch. The wind helped keep that ball in as Iwamura was bidding for his third homer. It's a 1-2-3 inning. 5 straight sent down by Dempster.
The Cubs host the Rockies at Wrigley Field. Game time is 7:05, but be sure to arrive early. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Cubs floppy hat, compliments of Fisher Nuts. Get your tickets today by calling 1-800-THE-CUBS or visiting Cubs.com.
A big fan of the floppy hat.
The Fish seem to like it. We have that lucky fishing hat. Right now it's the bucket hat from a couple of years ago.
Get me over curve for a strike. One and one on Giovanni Soto. Cooled off a little bit on this homestand. And still has put up excellent numbers here in the early going. All kinds of hats and caps here in the ballpark. Mahalam's 1-2 is up. Paul Mahalam is from Mississippi, born in Greenwood, Mississippi, and he went to college at Mississippi State. 8th overall pick in 2003. Another one inside, 3-2. Left-handers 27, 6'2", 220. Here he comes on a payoff pitch and a fly to deep right. Jones is back on the track, and he makes the catch right near where Nady retired Iwamura.
And just like the ball that Iwamura hit, just enough wind today to keep that one from getting out of here. Giovanni Soto hit it right on the barrel of the bat, a fastball up and out over the plate. Good contact, head right down the barrel of the bat, struck it well. It just got out there on the track and died in the glove of Garrett Jones.
Alfonso Soriano, ball one.
I mentioned the last time Mahalam and Dempster hooked up at PNC Park, each pitcher gave up 2 home runs. The 2 home runs that Mahalam surrendered were both solo shots, one to Soto, one to Soriano.
Alfonso hitting .404 at home. Hitting .405 here in the month of May overall. That's to left. Church goes back on this one, and the Cubs had flied out to the warning track twice to start this inning. We've seen a lot of warning track flyouts this season, especially with the wind blowing in.
Yep. It's no secret. We've talked about it a lot. This ballpark really plays differently depending on the wind conditions, and hitting fly balls to the warning track with the wind blowing in is not going to do you much good. Now, the ball will go out on a day like this. We've seen line drives reach the seats easily with the wind blowing even harder than it is today straight in. You know, Len, it seemed innocent enough at the time back in 1941. Joe DiMaggio got a base hit today. And
I think I know where this is going.
Every other day for the next 55 days. Got a hit every day between today and July 17th back in 1941.
That's golf to deep left. Another warning track shot, but this one will end up a double for Xavier Nady. I always forget the number, but after the DiMaggio streak was stopped, he hit in like another 21 in a row, right?
Yeah, something crazy like that.
78 out of 79.
He's starting to get a little more comfortable at the plate. His starts were sporadic and was getting a lot of appearances as a pinch hitter late in the ball game, but I think the regular at-bats have really helped his swing. He's starting to hit the ball with much more authority, hitting more line drives, fewer fly balls.
Starlin Castro seems to be getting more comfortable by the day. He has been on base via a hit or a walk in all 7 of his major league games. One and one on the youngest player in the majors, Starlin Castro. Pitch. Just missed the tight zone of Tony Randazzo, 2-1.
Boy, and I'm watching Tony Randazzo back there behind home plate. The umpires set up usually on the inside corner shoulder of the catcher. And the theory being you can see the inside corner and you kind of guess a little bit at the outside corner, but he's sitting so far inside, he's behind Starlin Castro. He's guessing at the outside and the inside corner. I don't think I've ever seen a major league umpire sit that far inside. He's behind the right-handed batter's box.
The 3-1 right at Ronnie Cedeno, who throws to Clement, and that's the inning. Cubs leave a man stranded in scoring position. We've completed 2, 3-zip Pirates. Weeknights, don't miss Chicago Tribune Live on Comcast Sportsnet. Tribune writers, sports stars, and celebrities join host David Kaplan to discuss the day's hottest sports topics. Don't miss Chicago Tribune Live, presented by Harris Bank. Weeknights at 5:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Andy LaRoche walked and scored in the 3-run first. And then he went after that one, 1-2. So Gio go down thinking if LaRoche swings at it, that's strike 3, and I need to block it.
Yep. I mean, obviously with runners on base, that's a big part of your job as the catcher, is to make sure that ball doesn't get by to the backstop and allow the runners to advance. But with 2 strikes on the hitter, the same thing is true. He may swing at that pitch in the dirt, but be ready to block it, get to it quickly.
Hey, there's Pete Ricketts and his family, one of the Cubs owners. We want to wish Roscoe, Pete's son, a happy 11th birthday here at the ballpark. Marlon Byrd drifting in, makes a catch.
It's time for our Cabot Woodstain's legendary performance. Fergie Jenkins pitches and bats the Cubs to a 6-4 win over the Padres. Jenkins hit a 2-run homer. Finished his 7th game in 8 starts. Billy Williams also hit his 300th career home run in that game.
Well, that's an interesting segue. Ed Hardig pointing out that yesterday the McCutchen-Jones, each with 5 hits, performance against the Cubs. Scalded, nice play, Terrio, and he put a perfect throw to Derek Lee. Yeah, he bounced it, but he knew with McCutchen running, he wasn't going to have much time.
And it was a perfect long hop to Derek Lee. Ball looked like it was ticketed for center field, but Terrio got to it nicely. Perfect one hopper to Derek Lee in time to get the speedy McCutchen.
That's how hard it is to get him out.
Yeah.
It's the only time the Cubs have retired him in the series. You know, the last time the Cubs watched 2 opposing players in the same game notch 5 hits. October 1st, 1960, at the Dodgers, Maury Wills and Bob Lillis each had 5 hits. The Cubs won 10-8 in 14 innings. And in that game, Billy Williams hit his first major league homer at the LA Memorial Coliseum off Stan Williams. To 426. A sweet swinging Billy Williams. One and one on Jones. Got under it. Nady over near the line. And a 1-2-3 for Dempster. So he's settled in after the Church 2-run double in the first. However, he trails this one by 3. Bank of America is Wednesday, May 26th at 2:30. Collect autographs on an authentic MLB baseball from the 2010 Cubs players and coaches in attendance. Limited tickets are available for $300 each. The proceeds benefit Chicago Cubs charities. To purchase tickets, go to Cubs.com or call 773-404-CUBS. Ryan Dempster's so good at laying down sack bunts, he thought about bunting for a hit. 0-2.
Yeah, good idea. LaRoche was giving him a lot of room on that third base side of the field. He tried to dump it down that third base line, but unfortunately fouled it away.
That's a fair ball into the bullpen, and Dempster on his way to second as Jones had to navigate around a couple of chairs. So it's been a year and a day since his last double.
That's about as late as you can swing at a pitch and still hit it into fair territory, just inside that first base line, and it's down there and rattles around the chairs in that Pirates bullpen. Security guard had to get out of the way.
I think it might have hit the ball bag.
It stayed in there just long enough for Dempster to make the turn and get into second base.
Cornermen in. Terrio not showing bunt. Base hit up the middle. Dempster stopping at third as he heeds Mike Quaddy's advice with nobody out.
Nice piece of hitting by Ryan Terrio. At worst, he's going to move Dempster up to third base with that grounder up the middle of the field. And at best, you drive home a run, but trailing by 3 in the game with your pitcher running the bases, Mike Quaddy a little more cautious than he might be with a position player.
So a no-out rally. First and third. Bird 1 for 1. 3 hits in the series as he grounds it foul. A couple of other games going on right now over the AL. Blue Jays lead the Rangers 1-0 in the fourth. What was it, 16-10 last night? The Blue Jays won a slugfest. And the Yankees already up 2-0 on the Twins. Andy Pettitte is pitching for New York. The Yankees, including the postseason last year, have won 11 straight against the Twins. Line and caught by Ronnie Cedeno. The tumbling grab to rob Bird of an RBI hit. Everybody had to hold, 1 out.
No justice in this game. Marlon Byrd hits a bullet. Looked like it was ticketed for left field in an RBI. Ronnie Cedeno comes over and snares it out of midair. You may remember in his first at bat, Marlon got jammed, hit a little floater that Cedeno couldn't get to in center field. That one fell for a base hit. This one goes for an out.
Up to Derek Lee. Try to get the ball up in the air to get Dempster in. Fastball strike. Mahalam has had some strange numbers against the Cubs in his career. He's 5-1, but his ERA is 6.63. The Pirates have gone 8-2 when he has started against the Cubs, and he leads again today. Jones coming in as Dempster tagging, and he's going to have to stay at third. Terrio tagged. and alertly went to second as he knew Jones was going to be up and firing to Doman.
You see Jones charging in from his right field position. First baseman Clement had moved into a cutoff position, and Jones throws it right over everybody. Dempster just bluffing down that third baseline. No chance for him to score, but heads up base running by Ryan Theriot, the trail runner. He saw that throw was going to be over the cutoff man. Moved into scoring position for Aramis Ramirez.
Trail just outside. Ramirez struck out swinging his first time up. Cubs need a 2-out RBI here. Put the first two guys on. The pitcher doubled to start the inning. And he is still at third base.
It seems funny to say this about a Pittsburgh Pirates ball club, but you better do something against them in the first 6 innings of a game. Their setup guys and closer in that bullpen have been really good against the Cubs this year, so you'd like to break through here before you get to Evan Meek and Joel Hanrahan and Octavio Dotel.
This would be a tough pill to swallow. Not only getting the first two guys on, but Bird, Lee, and Ramirez coming up, the RBI guys.
Yeah, this is exactly how you hope it rolls over. Get some of those guys at the bottom of the order on base. In this case, Ryan Dempster with his leadoff double. And then roll around to the top of the order and eventually get into the meat of your lineup with some runners in scoring position. Well, here's the opportunity.
2-2 pitch, and Ramirez gets it done. He's going to knock in 2, and that ball will roll all the way to the wall. Aramis with a 2-run double. It's 3-2. In some ways, it might have worked out perfectly because the guy who needed the confidence boost the most ended up with a big hit.
And it was a big hit. Stayed on that pitch out away from him and drove it with authority into that gap in right center field. With some off-balance swings earlier in the at-bat, but with 2 strikes managed to stay on that pitch and drive home a couple of teammates. Put us right back in the ball game.
17 knocked in for Ramirez on the season, and now a chance to tie it as Soto swings and misses at a changeup. And they finally get to Paul Mahalem. Send out happy birthday wishes. Number 31, a huge Cub fan, Paul Devon. Soto has not yet seen a fastball in this sequence. Congrats to Violet Tantillo, retiring after 31 years in education, the last 17 as a principal at Jefferson Elementary in Berwyn. She's having her retirement party today on a rooftop. And now that she's retired, Bob, she's going to spend most of her time here.
Sounds like a good retirement to me. She certainly earned it.
Hand signals from Doman as opposed to the finger signals from most catchers.
It's usually a byproduct of poor eyesight on the part of the pitcher. especially during night games when you tend to get shadows around the home plate area. It's very tough for some pitchers to see the finger sign, so the Pirates use a system of touches. Shoulder, shin guard, mask. One of the touches may be the key. For example, when he goes to his mask, it's the next sign after I touch my mask.
That's a base hit. And Aramis is going to be sent. Church's throw to the plate, and they're going to get him by a mile. Mike Quade took a chance with 2 outs. We've seen some excellent throws from the Pirates outfielders as Church picks up his 3rd assist of the season. That keeps it a 3-2 Pirates lead.
This 4th inning is brought to you by Fourth Meal from Taco Bell, open 1 a.m. or later.
Well, good news is the Cubs got 2. The bad news is they had a chance to tie it. Mike Quade taking a chance, and Ryan Church nailing Aramis Ramirez.
Yeah, that's really just putting it on that outfielder to make a good throw, and unfortunately for the Cubs, Ryan Church did make a great throw to home plate. You could clearly see in that replay that Church had the ball before Ramirez got to third base. That's usually the determining factor for a third base coach. The runner's on the bag as the outfielder's picking up the ball or before the outfielder picks up the ball. It's a pretty safe bet to send him. If the outfielder has the ball before the runner gets to third base, you should probably hold him. But that time, Mike Quade, trying to force the issue a little bit, went ahead and sent Ramirez, and he was thrown out at home plate.
Two strikes on Ryan Church, who's been a big part of this game, knocking in 2, saving a run with his arm defensively. He's retired 3-1. Time for AT&T Trivia. What is the record for the most players used at a position in one game? We're talking about in the batting order. We discussed it yesterday. I kind of thought maybe between 10 and 12.
I'll say 8. For some reason, 8 sticks in my mind.
Well, the one thing I do want you to think about, and I kind of was given a hint, is with September expanded rosters.
Think of that.
You get a chance for a few more guys.
Pinch hitter and then a pinch runner for the pinch hitter and a new defensive player.
By the way, that outfield assist for Church gives the Pirates 12 on the year. That leads the majors. So not something that is necessarily rare for them to throw out an advancing runner from the outfield. We saw McCutchen throw a strike to second when Marlon Byrd thought about tagging, decided the better of it to not.
Well, we know McCutchen charges the ball extremely hard. He's got a strong and accurate throwing arm in center field, and although we haven't seen as much of Garrett Jones out in right field, he appears to have a strong throwing arm as Domet chases the slider down for the second out of the inning, and certainly Ryan Church showed his arm on that last play.
Ryan Dempster's been a different guy after the first inning. He's been lights out. Strike on Clement. Two down, nobody on. We're in the fourth. The Pirates got their 3 in the first. The Cubs with 2 in the third. Dempster's starting to miss a lot of bats. And Clement asked for time and got it before Dempster went into his windup. Here it is. Upstairs, 2-2. Ross Ohlendorf and Ted Lilly go tomorrow. And then the Rockies will come here. Probably a bit waterlogged with all the rain they've gotten. Bouncing ball charged by Ryan Theriot. Third straight perfect inning for Dempster. Bottom 4, Soriano will lead it off. Cubs trail by 1. Grounds crew dragging the infield in between innings. Keeping it nicely manicured. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. What is the record for the most players used at a position in one game? We saw 8 Pirates in the 7th spot, but Seattle in '92 used 11 pitchers. So one defensive position I needed to clarify. 11 pitchers in one game. And that was in September, not a big shocker. Fouled off. We saw Steve Pearce at first. Zach Duke pinch ran for him. Pearce was hurt. Carrasco pitched. Crosby pinch hit. Meek pitched. Church pinch hit. Then we saw Hanrahan and Dotel. Two and two on Soriano.
The box scores that really look odd are when a manager makes a couple of double switches during the course of a ball game because of circumstances, and you end up starting the game with the pitcher in the 9 spot. Maybe by the 5th inning, the pitcher spot is the 2-hole in the lineup, and then later in the game, after the second double switch, the pitcher might be in the 7th spot in the lineup. You look at that box score the next day, and you see pitchers scattered all over the batting order.
Yeah, yesterday for the Pirates, other than the starter Burris, the pitcher's spot was the 7th spot the rest of the game. And Soriano strikes out. I don't know if he thought he got a piece of it or not. Domet dropped it and picked it up and tagged him. 1 away.
The slightest bit of late movement that time for Mahalam. Looked like maybe a cut fastball inside that got underneath the bat of Soriano. I think he was just upset with himself. He thought he had a hittable pitch there and came up empty.
Calling strike on Nady. Mahalam uses his curveball a lot early in counts to get called strikes. Not trying to get swings and misses, just assuming guys are looking for fastballs. That was a fastball up. Trying to change the eye level. Fastball up. The curve drops low.
It's funny because you sit in on these advanced meetings, and I've never yet heard of a guy who is a first pitch curveball hitter. They're always a first ball fastball, first ball fastball. So if you can throw a curveball for a strike, you're going to ambush a lot of hitters. You're going to get that strike one because they're so anxious to hit the heater. And when they see that slow breaking ball coming up there on the first pitch, unless it's just a terrible hanger, they're probably going to take it. And if it's in the strike zone, now you're ahead in the count 0-1. Of course, the thing is, if you develop a reputation as being a guy who will roll a curveball up there for strike one, the smart veteran hitters will go to the plate and look curveball first pitch.
And for you sitting at home and you see a guy like Ryan Domet put his glove up over the belt of the batter, 100 out of 100 times it'll be a fastball. We talked about that earlier this year. Where a catcher sets up tells you a lot about the type of pitch often that's going to be thrown. And that's the last place you're going to throw an off-speed pitch on purpose.
Unless you don't like your pitcher. Yeah, because off-speed pitches up above the belt tend to get hit really hard.
Is there a guy currently, or was there a guy when you played, who was particularly good at ambushing a pitcher early in the count on a breaking ball? Anyone that you remember who looked a lot for something other than a fastball and did some damage? Swing and a miss. He struck him out on a changeup.
Well, in my brief time in the American League with the Toronto Blue Jays, playing under Cito Gaston, who was a really good hitting coach, by the way, before he became a manager, he was a strong proponent of that. If a guy had a reputation of throwing a breaking ball for a strike on the first pitch, he would encourage us to go to the plate and look for that breaking ball, take it away from him. And that Blue Jays team that I played on that year was very good at it. George Bell and Lloyd Mosby, Jesse Barfield, right on down the line. Every one of those guys would change their approach depending on the opposing pitcher that day. If you were going to see a lot of breaking balls, don't go to the plate expecting to hit a fastball. Be ready to hit a breaking ball.
Now, when you do that early in the count, do you end up looking silly and late on a fastball, or is the recognition there where guys were able to take non-breaking balls? Castro with a 2-out single.
If you go to the plate looking for an off-speed pitch on the first pitch, you're pretty much obligated to take a fastball because you're going to be late. You're going to foul it into that first base dugout. So, you make the commitment. I'm looking for an off-speed pitch, and sometimes you took a fastball down the middle for a strike. But it all gets back to playing the percentages and crunching all these numbers that everybody has access to nowadays. And pitchers are creatures of habit. They tend to fall into patterns sometimes. And if a guy had a pattern of being a first pitch breaking ball pitcher, it made a lot of sense offensively to go look for it.
Dempster makes more contact. Knocked down by LaRoche. He has time. Not a very good throw, but Clement able to stretch and get it, and that ends the inning. Still 3-2 Pirates after 4. It's a Subway fifth inning. Text footlong to 53695. If you're the 500th texter, you could win $5 footlong subs from Subway. $499 to go. $498.
Let me know when we get down to single digits. I'll start texting myself.
Okay. I think you're ineligible to win. Oh, Ryan Dempster probably wishes he could erase the first inning. If that were the case, he'd be ahead. But it's not how it works. He walked the first two batters of the game. They would eventually score, and the Pirates would take a 3-0 lead. It's 3-2 here in the fifth as Cedeno takes a slider outside. Cubs are out hitting the Pirates 7-2. I'll tell you one thing, 3-2 has not been a good omen for Ryan Dempster. He lost back-to-back 3-2 games a few starts ago. I'm going to say about 427. We continue to whittle way down to one as Ramirez knocked it down. That's all he could do.
Playing in, protecting against a possible bunt, you've really got to be quick with your hands and react. That ball hit a little bit to the backhand side there. Ramirez tried to smother it on that in-between hop. It hit him up near the wrist and ricocheted away.
So the pitcher pops up the bunt attempt and back to the backstop for strike one. Certainly gave Cedeno a hit. It's the third for the Pirates. Soto telling Ramirez to come in even more. He might have been signaling him, hey, keep coming.
Well, sometimes you sense something with that hitter there. Might see him open up his stance a little bit more, start moving his hands a little bit too early, and nothing wrong with calling your defender in.
One, and that's it.
And that's why you call your third baseman in an extra step. In an obvious sacrifice bunt situation, if the pitcher does something in his setup that really tips off he's going to be bunting, come in another step or two. Challenge him to try to hit it past you. That way you have the chance to get the force play at second base, possibly even complete a double play.
So Mahalam takes over at first, and it's Iwamura who has walked, scored, and fly deep to the track in right. Two and 0.
Well, that's a trade you'll take any time. Erase Ronnie Cedeno and replace him with the pitcher running at first base. The pitchers are not nearly as aggressive as base runners for the most part. There's a pitcher or two on every staff that considers himself a good base runner, but anytime I can trade out a position player for any pitcher on the bases, I consider that to be a great trade. Not to mention the fact if you make him run around out there long enough, maybe it'll take something out of him when he goes back out to take the mound.
The 3-1 is away, ball 4. They've started a nice annual tradition in Cincinnati. The civil rights game will be played tonight between the Cardinals and the Reds. Cardinals won last night to start that series and remain in first place. We had a big roundtable discussion at the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center yesterday. Hank Aaron was there. Full day of activities today in Cincinnati. At the knees for a strike, 1-1. Dempster has a sign from Soto. Finds the outside corner. 1-2 on LaRoche. Mike Leake will get the start for the Reds tonight against Adam Wainwright. That's an excellent matchup. Leake is 3-0. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Right where Giovanni Soto wanted it, up high. Hey, get in the swing at Captain Morgan's Club every Monday for your chance to win batting practice on Wrigley Field. Polish off 60 wings in 60 minutes and you'll be swinging them out of the park at the end of the season batting practice. With 25-cent wings on Mondays, you won't break the bank. Visit CaptainMorgansClub.com for details.
McCutchen finally retired on a nifty play by Ryan Theriot in the third. And he's done a nice job since making the switch from short to second.
I guess the best compliment you can play any player making a position change the way Theriot did is to say he looks like a natural over there. Probably the biggest adjustment for anybody moving from short to second is that double play pivot, and Ryan had some right out of the chute his first game at second base and looked very comfortable doing.
Awkward swing by McCutchen. 1-2. Two of the hottest hitters in the league this month in this game, McCutchen and Soriano. Andre Ethier, I think, is still leading in the Triple Crown category.
Yes, he is. Yeah, homers and RBIs and batting average.
We'll see Andre Ethier on the next homestand with the Dodgers. Ethier 392 for the year, 11 homers and 38 knocked in. Leads the league in hits, in total bases, in slugging percentage, home batting average, night batting average, you name it.
Other than that, he hasn't done much.
Yeah. Soto kept it in front of him. They keep the runners right where they are. 3-2 now with 2 down.
Slider off the outside corner is going to come back a little bit. Because of the rotation on the ball, it doesn't hit the dirt and skip straight ahead. It's always going to have just a little bit of movement back toward where you were coming from. And that time Soto was able to play that spinning hop perfectly.
Runners take off, and it's inside ball 4, and here comes a very dangerous Garrett Jones.
I'll tell you what, Len, I bet you could win some bar bets with this question. Who's leading the National League in on-base percentage?
Wow. Is it Carlos Ruiz?
You win. Ding,
okay.
ding, ding, ding. Yeah, the Phillies catcher. As a matter of fact, Giovanni Soto lacks the at-bats to qualify, but if he had enough at-bats, he would be second in the National League in on-base percentage. And also Benji Molina, Brian McCann, 2 other catchers in the top 10 in the National League in on-base percentage. See, I would ask somebody that's already had a bunch of beer. I knew you'd get it right.
Garrett Jones hit 3 homers over the first 2 games of the season. He then didn't homer again until April 23rd. His 5th of the year came yesterday. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Way out in front of home plate, 1-1. This was a game winner off Carlos Zambrano yesterday.
Fastball down. Jones, a real good low ball hitter, just golfed it out of here into the bleachers in right field.
First career homer here at Wrigley. He's a Chicago area native. He's connected once off Ryan Dempster. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Big spot in this game as the Cubs are within 1, but the Pirates are trying to pad their lead. Struck him out on a fastball, and they leave the bases loaded. We'll head to the bottom of the fifth. 3-2 Pirates. All right, Luke, thank you. It's 3-2. The Pirates with a lead. And Ryan Dempster's been a lot better since that rough first inning, and a key strikeout of Garrett Jones.
Big strikeout of Garrett Jones, a guy that had 5 knocks, including a home run in the game yesterday. It was on a tee for him right there to blow this one open for the Pirates, but Dempster made some of his best pitches of the ball game against the Pirates right fielder.
And as you said, you'd like to do some damage against the starter. You don't want to get into that hard-throwing bullpen down late. A 1-1 to Terrio is inside. 2-1. Here's a pitch. 3-1. Bird and Lee will also bat in this inning. Are you sitting down? Yes, you are. I can see that, but I need to ask for our viewers out there. Ubaldo Jimenez gave up a run today. Are you still sitting?
Yeah.
Livan Hernandez did too. McCutchen will get there. 1-1 there in the second and the first of a day-night doubleheader at Colorado.
Well, time for our Home Depot doing more on defense. Ryan Terrio making the position change from short to second, and it's a real nice backhanded play and one-hop throw onto Derek Lee to get the speedy Andrew McCutchen.
Bird with a bloop single, and then he lined out. That's foul outside of third. Even after giving up the run, Jimenez has an ERA of 1.07. That's up to date after 2 innings today. Livan at 1.02. Cedeno goes out, and Church is going to call him off and make the basket catch.
It'd be hard to find 2 pitchers with more differing styles than Livan Hernandez and Ubaldo Jimenez, as you see Church make that really May-style basket catch. Ubaldo Jimenez, if I'm not mistaken, and if it hasn't changed recently, has the highest average velocity on his fastball in the major leagues. Livan Hernandez will occasionally flip pitches up there in the low to mid 60s.
Both effective.
Very much so.
The 0-1 to lead. Out into left center. McCutchen will chase after it. A sliding play to cut it off. His throw to second is Lee galloping there, and he'll get in. Just behind the tag of Iwamura. Derek with those long strides. He's pretty fast when he gets going, and he needed to be to beat the throw by McCutchen.
Now, fortunately, McCutchen's throw was on the outfield side of second base, taking Iwamura away from the bag just enough for Derek Lee to get in there. This is the time to be aggressive. With 2 outs in the inning, you want to try to get yourself into scoring position. Saw McCutchen spin his wheels just a little bit out there in left center as he went into that sliding stop of that line drive. And as I said before, the throw on the outfield side of the bag, giving D. Lee enough room to get in there with a double.
Boy, that was a late slide. He's fortunate he didn't hurt himself. The kick, the 1-0. Low and outside to Ramirez. He doubled home 2 in the third, and then he was thrown out trying to score the tying run to end that inning. To left, Church over to his right, and that's it. So Ramirez got a 2-0 pitch to hit, and he pulled it hard, but for the third out. Off to the 6th. Pirates 3, Cubs 2. Immediately after every Blackhawks playoff game, flip over to Comcast Sportsnet for Smirnoff Vodka Blackhawks Postgame Live. Highlights and analysis from your hometown favorites, plus locker room interviews and Coach Q's postgame remarks. Smirnoff Vodka Blackhawks Postgame Live, beginning tomorrow and after every playoff game on Comcast Sportsnet. One and nothing on Ryan Church. Ryan against Ryan. Church went. To Ted Barrett. 1-1. caught the outside corner. Church made a pretty nice tour of the National League East to start his career with the Expos and Nationals, and the Mets and the Braves. Now he's with the Pirates in the Central as he foul tips for strike 3. Blackhawks have a way for you to catch the exciting playoff action live. Text playoffs to BHawks. That's 242-957 to join Blackhawks Mobile and be entered to win a pair of tickets to an upcoming Blackhawks home playoff game. That's playoffs to 242-957 for your chance to win the hottest ticket in town. Message and data rates apply. And we wish the Hawks the best of luck against San Jose. You have 1 and 2 in the West and 7 and 8 in the East.
Well, I would assume hockey's very similar to baseball. Just get to the playoffs.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't matter how you get there, what your record was to get there. Once you're in the party, anything can happen.
Mr. Splitter's been good here against the lefties lately. Bounced in front of the plate, 1 and 2. Seven strikeouts for Dempster. 4 walks, 2 were pretty damaging right off the bat. These guys from the great Northwest. Ryan Dempster's from British Columbia, Canada. Ryan Doman from Lake Moses, Washington.
I've actually been to Lake Moses, Washington. I think I've told the story in the past about Ryan Doman. Former friend with the San Francisco Giants, Dave Haverlow, was also from Lake Moses and was having a banquet to honor some of the local youth sports, and asked me if I would go be the guest speaker. And there was a young man that was in high school at the time by the name of Ryan Doman, high school catcher. I said, "Are you going to be in the big league someday, son?" He said, "Yes, sir, I am." Well, here he is.
And there he goes back to the dugout. He has struck out all 3 times. Tough league.
It can be. McCutcheon and Jones made it look like a very easy league yesterday, but that's why we make note of 5-hit games like that. They just don't happen very often.
Castro out, but he won't have a play as Clement has his first hit of the day. Gives Cedeno a chance with a runner on and 2 down.
A slider down and in. This is what you call carving a ball into left field. Have a slashing swing down and through the ball. Just caught the very bottom part of it. A little floating humpback liner over Castro's head into shallow left.
Outside corner. Pitcher Mahalam is on deck. Mister would like to keep him there, and the pitcher's spot come up first in the bottom of the inning. Need to win today and tomorrow to be ahead of the Pirates in the standings by the end of the weekend. They're a half game behind them currently. Cubs are just 8-11 against their own division, and they have not yet played the Cardinals. They have played everybody else. And they've only had really good success against Milwaukee. Cedeno pops it up behind second. And it is the second baseman, Terrio. They put it in his pocket, and the inning is over. Soto, Soriano, and Nady coming up as the Cubs continue to trail by 1. Tickets are selling quickly, but there's still time to get great seats for games in May. Bleacher seats are available as well, and to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Call 1-800-THE-CUBS or visit the Wrigley Field box office. Paul Mahalam with a 1-0 to Giovanni Soto. He bounces it foul. Carrasco up for the Pirates. And Sean Marshall looks like he's ready to throw in the Cubs pen. That's Marshall, or is that John Graybo? The lefty, Graybo. I'll have to tell John I thought he was Sean Marshall. So you thought I was 6'7". Yeah, thank you.
Vertical pinstripes. Very slimming.
There's a tall lefty. Called strike 3. Mahalam has not been as dominating with the swings and misses as Ryan Dempster has been, but he leads the game 3-2. His 4th strikeout. Cubs are just 4-7 against left-handed starters, and that's baffling to me.
Boy, that really is baffling. Right-handed heavy roster that we feature. I guess the easiest way to try to explain it is the fact that for the most part the Cubs are a real good fastball hitting team. And most left-handed pitchers in the major leagues are not necessarily power pitchers. Mahalam's got a fastball in the high 80s. Occasionally he'll touch 90, but he relies more on location and changing speeds, moving the ball around.
Broken bat liner to LaRoche. And you can watch Comcast Sportsnet Cubs game replays on demand with Xfinity TV from Comcast. Don't miss the action. Call 1-800-XFINITY today. Nady crunches it foul. We had some numbers today. The Cubs have been a lot better, even though they lost yesterday. But when the temperature at game time is above 55 degrees. I noticed today it was 56. So let's hope that's a good omen. I don't know if it's 56 right now. It hasn't gotten any warmer, I'll tell you that.
Does that take into consideration the wind chill or just the temperature?
Just the temperature. Teeth are chattering over there. You thought it was going to be 80 degrees.
I underestimated with my jackets today. I thought it was going to be a lot warmer than it is.
Wearing your paper thin pullover. Which looks great.
It's light.
Really meant to keep you warm. So you get fooled here, don't you? Yesterday was a nice warm day in the mid to upper 60s. And we're still in that time period here in mid-May when the weather's still all over the place from day to day. Iwamura will throw out Nady. We've completed 6. Pirates 3, Cubs 2. As they get a visit from Colorado, tune in as Alfonso Soriano and the Cubs try to tap the Rockies for a win. Coverage begins at 6:30 with GMC Sports Night. Cubs-Rockies Monday night at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet. Fans' best friend. Bobby Crosby's going to bat for the pitcher Paul Maholm, who leaves with a chance to win for the second time this year against the Cubs. We're in the 7th. 3-2 Pirates. Dempster's still in there. His spot due up second in the bottom of the inning. With 2-0 to Crosby. Now 3 balls, no strikes. Top of the order after him, starting with Iwamura. Oh, Bob, I said before, Dempster's been more dominating in terms of getting swings and misses today, but the big difference and the most obvious difference is Paul Maholm didn't walk anybody, and Ryan Dempster's 2 walks to start the game directly led to a couple of runs. That's why the Cubs trail. There's another walk, the 5th of the day for Dempster.
It wouldn't surprise me a little bit to see John Russell ask his leadoff hitter to put down a sacrifice bunt right here. We've talked about Iwamura's struggles. He does have a couple of walks and a run scored in the ball game today, but he's really had problems making solid contact at the plate. It wouldn't be out of the question to ask him to put down a sac bunt.
Shows bunt and takes ball 1. Kendall Gill is in the house. Our Comcast Sportsnet Bulls coverage. It's Illini Day here at the ballpark. He will represent Illinois. Sing the 7th inning stretch coming up. Can't wait to see you walking around town with your new orange golf shirt. It's very orange.
It's orange. Neon orange. Pop a bunt up right here.
Bunted foul.
Hey, happy 8th birthday today to Jake Rothschild here at the ball game today. What a place to spend your birthday, huh?
Hoping the Cubs can win for him on his birthday. We don't believe there's any relation to Larry Rothschild, but who knows? Bounced over Dempster, takes Castro right to the bag, and it's a 6-3 double play. That worked out all right.
Second double play we've seen like that recently. The other one had Mike Fontenot standing on second base as he fielded the ground ball. This time it's Starlin Castro led right to the bag by that bouncer up the middle and turns it into an easy double play.
LaRoche has walked, flied out, and struck out. 1 ball, no strikes. Dempster trying to finish strong. Still could take the at bat in the bottom of the inning if a bunting situation comes up. But he won't come back out and pitch the 8th. He's nearing 120 pitches for the day. Foul pop back to the seats. Berg and Graybo up in the pen. These are the kind of days Ryan Dempster plans for in November and December and January. Those ridiculously rigorous workouts. is in incredible shape.
We always talk about the pitch count for a starting pitcher. Ryan Dempster up over the 120 pitch mark in this game. The toll is really not so much on your arm. It can be on your legs, on your lower back. Especially if you have poor mechanics out there on the mound, you tend to feel it in other parts of your body before you feel it in your arm.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Stretch time with Kendall Gill.
For the Chicago Bull and current CSN Bulls analyst, Kendall Gill.
All right, Cubs fans, let me hear you. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back for its room for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
And the new pitcher is right-hander DJ Carrasco as he faces Starlin Castro. Like Kosuke Fukudome is going to hit in Dempster's spot. 3-2, the Pirates have the lead. Kendall Gill is with us on a Illini day, seeing a lot of orange and blue out in the stands. How you doing, Kendall?
I'm doing great. It's great to be out here at the ballpark. My first time back at Wrigley since I was really 8 or 9 years old. I've been playing a lot of basketball, so I haven't been able to get out here.
Fly ball out into right center. McCutchen calls for it and makes a catch. All right, we'll get it right out of the way. You think LeBron is coming here? That's what everybody wants to know.
I've seemed to be asked that question about 10,000 times today. But, I think that there's a 50% chance of him coming here. If I were LeBron James, I would seriously look at the Chicago Bulls organization. Because, one, you got another budding superstar in Derrick Rose here. Joakim Noah, who's a workhorse, who's going to help you win. And the Bulls are right on the brink of becoming one of the elite teams in the NBA. And, LeBron's had 7 years to do it in Cleveland. It hasn't happened. So, might as well come to Chicago, get a fresh start.
I think a lot of people would like that. Yeah. Here's Kosuke. And will that situation then delay the coaching search? With all the free agency and everything, you have to figure out who your players are going to be somewhat before you hire someone.
Well, in LeBron's case, sometimes you may want to wait until you think he can sign or not in order to pick a head coach. But because he may have some say so in that coaching change. So, but normally teams like to have their coach in place before they go to the draft, before they go through free agency. But in LeBron's case, I think that this is a special situation. You may have to wait on that guy to see what he's going to do.
3-1 on the pinch hitter Fukudome. So it's safe to say this will be one of the biggest off seasons in Bulls history.
I think so. I think that if we can acquire LeBron James, that the Bulls put themselves back into the contention of getting 3, 4 more championships in the next couple, 4 or 5 years here, because with those 3 guys that I just mentioned, they're all young. They're also very, very good basketball players. They can match. They get the right coach. They have the right system, the right organization, the right city. I don't see anything but success if that happens.
There's nothing like winning in Chicago, is there, Kendall? Regardless of the sport.
Regardless of the sport, I've been all over the country. I've lived all over the country. Played professional sports for 15 years. I've been to the New York Yankees World Championship Series, but nothing is like winning a championship here in Chicago. I can go back to the '85 Bears, the Bulls winning their championships, and the team on the South Side, winning their championship as well. Chicago, to me, is the best sports town in the country, bar none, and I've been all over the place.
Well, we enjoy your work very much on Comcast Sportsnet.
Thank you very much.
And what do you do in the off season?
Well, I box. I just had a fight 2 weeks ago, which I won, but I don't know whether I'm going to get back in the ring again. My wife has a big say-so in that. And I got 2 little boys now, and, boxing is a dangerous sport, but, I'm addicted to it. But, you have to realize, too, I'll be 42 years old here coming up in the next couple of weeks. So.
Terrio got hit. The back of that front arm, so the tying run is on base, but it didn't feel too good.
The fastball gets away from Carrasco and caught him right on the point of that left elbow. I say it all the time, if you've ever banged your crazy bone on a doorway or something like that, imagine getting hit by a 92-mile-an-hour fastball on that crazy bone. That's what Ryan Terrio is going through right now.
Chatting with Mark O'Neill.
Well, I got to tell you, Kendall, you must be doing well boxing because you don't have a mark on your face. You must be issuing some whippings, huh?
Yeah, well, you know what? I knocked the guy out in the 3rd round 2 weeks ago. But, you do take shots, and I've healed up from some of them. I had a couple scratches on my face, but, give it a week or so, you can heal up. But, you can't see the body shots. Those are the ones that hurt the most. That's what Terrio just took right there.
So you say it's addictive. What about boxing is so addicting?
I think being able to impose your will on somebody else, and being able to do it in a constructive way where you don't have to get in trouble, being in the ring and the thrill of competition, being in there and it's just you in there, you do have a corner, you do have a team, but when you step in the ring, it's just mano a mano, and I think that's what's addictive about it for me. I love the competition.
Keeps you in tip-top shape, because if you're not in shape, that's not a sport you'll do well in.
No. When I first started boxing, I went. It was my last year with the Bulls, and I went in. I was in basketball shape, and I thought that I was in fighting shape, but it put me in the ring, and I couldn't finish one round. And that let me know what type of condition you have to be in to box. That's why those guys get up in the morning and run 4 or 5 miles, then go to the gym and put in 2 hours of work. Boxers to me are the best conditioned athletes, bar none, in the world.
One and nothing on Bird as he fouls it back. 1-1. Cubs have trailed the entire day. They did make it 3-2 as they got some runs in the bottom of the 3rd, but that has been it. And now the Pirates bullpen, which has been very strong this year, particularly against the Cubs, trying to close it out. Still a long way to go. We're in the 7th. Two and one.
Now we know the Cubs don't run a lot, but Ryan Terrio, one guy who will look to steal a base from time to time. And Ryan Doman behind the plate for the Pirates has had some issues this year. He's only caught 2 out of 23 attempted base stealers. Of course, you need to get the jump off the pitcher on the mound. Terrio trying to get the maximum lead over there at first.
Little tapper. Carrasco gets off the mound. He'll flip it over, and That's it. Kendall, best of luck in your boxing career.
Hey, thanks a lot,
We'll
guys.
see you on TV in the fall.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Kendall.
All right.
PNC Club of Chicago, the new club located down the third baseline, offers high-end catering, a top-shelf bar, indoor and outdoor seating, and other benefits that allow for a truly all-inclusive game day experience. Membership also includes parking for every home game. To reserve your season tickets in the PNC Club of Chicago, call 773-404-4200.
Still 3-2. John Graybold greeted by Andrew McCutchen. A bloop single to start the 8th. Kosuke is in to play right. That means Nady is out. Graybold, in his first outing in a week, was excellent yesterday. He struck out the side of the 7th. And 1-2-3. Well, this is a key inning right here, as the Cubs don't want to let the Pirates get any insurance. You're speechless.
Well, we always say start them young. That may be jumping the gun just a tad.
That was a pregnant pause in our broadcast. Oh, 2 on Garrett Jones. Here's a pitch. He fouled it back.
We talked about McCutchen stealing 2 bases to go along with his 5 base hits in the ball game yesterday. Those 2 stolen bases put him into the National League lead, 1 ahead of Michael Bourne of the Houston Astros.
Chase Headley and Will Venable of the Padres. Hammered foul. Oh-2 changeup pulled to Derek Lee. Spins, throws, gets he out at second. Relay throw in time from Castro. 3-6-3.
Ball hit right to Derek Lee after he shuffled off the bag. That's not an easy play for a right-handed throwing first baseman. You see Derek has to spin his body all the way around. The key is always to keep that throw away from the runner going into second base. Derek gave it to Castro on the inside of the baseline where he was able to complete the relay throw and finish the double play.
2 down, nobody on. Ryan Church, with Ramirez playing back, thought about a bunt, took the fastball out of the zone. High fly for Marlon Byrd. Inning over. Bottom of the 8th. Lee, Ramirez, and Soto coming up when we come back. Okay, Luke, thanks. Joel Hanrahan, hard-throwing righty against Derek Lee, who takes a mid-80s slider for a strike. We're in the 8th. It's still 3-2 Pirates. Back-to-back sliders, 0-2.
Well, we talked a lot about Hanrahan and Evan Meek, the two setup guys in that Pirates bullpen. Combined, they've thrown 7 innings against the Cubs this year. Surrendered only 3 base hits, 11 strikeouts.
Stays away from Derek. Hanrahan did not pitch in a spring training game because of a right elbow flexor muscle strain. He started the year on the DL, came off about a week into the season. As he strikes out Lee, he's got his slider working today. 1 out.
When you throw 95 plus with your fastball, your slider doesn't have to be perfect every time. He threw one for a called strike to start the sequence. Then on the 2-strike count, throws one out of the strike zone to get a swinging strike 3. You got to get that bat started so early to catch up with that 95-mile-an-hour fastball that you become susceptible even to mediocre breaking pitches.
Including that punch-out. Over his last 7 appearances, he now has 10 strikeouts in 6 1/3 innings. Ramirez, a bit of an off-balance swing, as he had to reach out and get it, and he flies to McCutchen. Visit the official online shop of the Cubs at Cubs.com. Browse the largest selection of official gear, including the latest apparel, nostalgic memorabilia, and authentic classics for the whole family. Get your gear from the official source, the Cubs.com shop. except no substitutes. One and nothing on Giovanni Soto. One and one. Closer Marmol is up. Question is, will he pitch down a run, tied, or ahead? You have to be very encouraged by back-to-back strong outings from the guy the Cubs were counting heavily on to start the season, John Graybo. Ryan Dempster today made 123 pitches, the most he has thrown since September 19th, 2002, when he was a Cincinnati Red. That was at Pittsburgh. And much of it was excellent. The first inning was the tough one. He gave up all 3 runs.
Just didn't seem to be comfortable out there on the mound to start the ball game. The back-to-back walks that both came around to score. Good at bat by Gio that time to draw the base on balls after falling behind in the count.
So a walk, how about a go-ahead home run here?
Works for me.
Wind continues to blow in from center, but not very hard. Should not affect a ball hit right down the left field line. Waiting for a pinch runner as Tyler Colvin will run for Soto.
Henry had a big guy out there on the mound, and as such, being a power pitcher, he's relatively slow in his delivery to home plate. I gave you the numbers on Ryan Doumit when Ryan Theriot was on base. Doumit with a lot of issues throwing out runners this year. See if Tyler Colvin tries to get a jump and get himself into scoring position, representing the tying run.
Two and 0. Mike Fontenot is on deck in the pitcher's spot. The right field Jones was playing toward the gap, loses his hat for the second time in this game as the ball hits a sideball foul.
Mentioned shading into the gap in right center. Had a mile to run after that ball. And then when he gets there, he realizes he's dealing with the sideball along with it. Just can't make up the ground quickly enough.
Low and away. Soto battled back, took the walk to keep the inning alive. Colvin then replaced him as a runner. And it's 3-1 on Alfonso Soriano. 3-2 on Soriano. Colvin takes off, and we'll do it again. Doesn't look like Hanrahan's going to throw him a fastball. He used his slider a lot this inning. And we know Sori likes the heat. Just hope if he does throw him a slider, he hangs one. Well, maybe not. Going to go with a fastball away, it looks like. Colvin runs again. Another foul.
Well, so far in his inning of work today, Hanrahan has actually shown better command of his slider than his fastball. Very similar to Carlos Marmol in that respect. Comes the slider. Hanging.
Dolmet makes the play. It goes 2-3. We'll head off to the ninth. Still 3-2 for the visitors.
Post-game live. Send your questions to pglchicago at ComcastSportsnet.com, and you could get an answer live on air. Don't miss Sylvania Cubs post-game live immediately following the game right here on Comcast Sportsnet, fans' best friend. A couple of changes for the Cubs. Coy Hill will take over behind the plate after Giovanni Soto was taken down for a pinch runner, and the new hurler Carlos Marmol coming in here to hold it at a one-run ball game, give his offense a chance in the bottom half of the inning.
Well, Bob, I don't bet much. But if you told me after the third inning it would be 3-2 in the ninth, I'd have jumped all over that one. I'm surprised, but I guess you give the Pirates pitching staff, including their starter Mahalam, some credit here. They've kept the Cubs at 2. How big does that Ryan Church throw look now? As the Cubs tried to tie it in that third inning, and Ramirez was gunned down. That's the play of the day at this point. A fair ball picked by Lee. Marmol covering. Dolman 0 for 4. Plan your next corporate function or family gathering in the comfort of the Wrigley Field Mezzanine Suites presented by Nuveen Investments. Suites are available now for games during the season. To book your suite or for more information, visit Cubs.com/suites or call 773-404-4200. A strike on Jeff Clement. Good look from behind home plate. Fastball missed outside. 1-1. Ryan Dempster in danger of losing his 4th consecutive start. That is deep to left and an opposite field home run for Jeff Clement off Carlos Marmol, and it's 4-2. He went into that at bat hitting 187 on the season. His 4th homer. They've all come on the road.
Just a tardy swing on a fastball out over the plate. He got the barrel of the bat on it, kept it low underneath the wind, and just enough to get it out of here to left field. Boy, that is surprising. You rarely see anybody make solid contact against Carlos Marmol, let alone the kind of contact that results in a home run.
Two and 0 on Cedeno. Taking all the way, a slider to make it 2-1. Out into center. Just enough airtime for Marlon Byrd to get it. Brings up Bobby Crosby, who's now playing second after he pinch hit in the 7th. Quiet audience at the moment. 41,336. One of the bigger crowds of the season. But the home team trailing here late. 4-2 in the 9th. Two and 2 on Crosby. Former American League Rookie of the Year with Oakland in 2004. When he became the 4th rookie shortstop to hit 20 home runs. He hit 22 that year. Lots of injuries since. 7 DL stints from 05 to 09. Marmol can't get it. Terrio does and gets the out. They get an insurance tally on the Clement opposite field blast. Bottom 9, the Cubs need at least 2 to hang around. home crowd has had to wear the rally cap way too often late, as Octavio Dotel will try to notch his 7th save of the season.
Lofty ERA just under 7. You see lefties have hit him considerably better than the righties. Mike Fontenot will lead off the inning for the Cubs. Need a runner.
Cubs are perilously close to going to 0-5 against the Pirates this season. First pitch strike from Dotel, at one time pitched on the south side of Chicago with the White Sox. That's his sign from Doman. Missed the target. 2-1.
Fontenot 2 for 7 as a pinch hitter this season, including a grand slam home run in Cincinnati on that last road trip.
A bouncer to Ronnie Cedeno, up with it quickly, and he gets Fontenot. 1 out. Last year the Cubs went 10-4 against the Pirates. This year they're 0-4. Tough game to figure out. Let's see if Starlin Castro can start a rally. Up and in. '89 career saves for Dotel. And a career best 36 in 04 between Houston and Oakland.
See a fastball touch 90 right there. He usually pitches in the high 80s with a little bit of late movement. He'll throw a two-seamer that'll sink a little, a cutter that'll move away from the right-handed hitters a little bit, but considerable drop-off in velocity after Joel Hanrahan to Octavio Dotel.
Castro gets a walk, and that's a start. Tying run will come up. It'll be Fukudome. I'll say it again. I've been impressed with Castro's patience here in the early going. Starlin has now walked 5 times and struck out only twice. That ball bounced in front of home plate, and Kosuke was fooled badly.
Obviously didn't recognize the spin on that pitch. It's a breaking ball from Dotel. That ball bounces a good 4 or 5 feet out in front of home plate. You see somebody chase a pitch in the dirt that far out in front of home plate, they feel that they recognize the pitch out of the pitcher's hand. Read fastball and then swing even though the pitch breaks in the dirt out in front of home plate.
All of a sudden it's 0-2. They give Kosuke a ton of room, not only between first and second, but in right field. Garrett Jones is right in line with a 368 sign in right center. So they don't think he's going to turn on one against Dotel. Cutchin way over in left center. Another one bounced in front of home plate on a waste pitch. 2-2.
It's kind of odd to see this kind of exaggerated shift to the opposite field when Dotel has thrown nothing but off-speed breaking balls this entire sequence. That's a pitch that if Fukudome makes contact, he's more likely to pull that ball to right field or right center, but Pirates shading him the other way.
The kick and the 2-2 just outside. So after an 0-2 start, he's worked it full. Fans are up for the 3-2 pitch down that right field line. Castro should be able to easily score. Fukudome now on his way to third. The tying run is 90 feet away with only one out. So that alignment is a huge part of that hit.
Well, that plus the fact Kosuke was able to work back to the full count where he finally did get a fastball. He was ready for it and kept it fair down that right field line. Well, we've seen the Pirates overshift as much as any team in baseball in the outfield, and more than anything else, it has hurt them this year. They like to pinch those gaps, try to take away the extra base hits between the outfielders, leaving both lines open. In this case, the right field line wide open for the Fukudome triple.
I know they align their defense according to pitchers making their pitches. That is always a big part of any defensive alignment. And Fukudome put it in a perfect spot, as Jones had to go get it. Castro scored a triple for Fukudome. The Pirates move their infield in against Ryan Terrio. A 4-3 ball game. The pitch to Terrio is low. And remember how that at bat started with Fukudome. He swung and missed at a pitch and missed it by about 3 feet. Went to 0-2, worked it full, and then tripled. The 1-0 shank foul. The first triple for Kosuke since July 30th of last year. And it's a huge one. One and two. Ground ball needs to get through. And the Cubs to get this tying run in.
Well, Pirates catcher Ryan Doman has done yeoman's work here in this inning, blocking all those breaking balls in the dirt from Octavio Dotel. Very relaxed behind the plate. That's a key to making good blocks. Don't tense up. Covers that 5-hole with his glove and keeps it right in front.
2-2 the count. Here's a pitch. He struck him out swinging. A gigantic strikeout for Dotel. Everybody can move back. 2 outs in the inning.
A little extra on that fastball at 94. The best heater we've seen from Dotel so far this year. He throws it to Ryan Terrio on the 2-strike count, up around the letters. Up to Marlon Byrd.
Well, Ramirez picked up the Cubs with a 2-run, 2-out double in the third inning, and it's up to Marlon Byrd. Swing and a miss. Couldn't get a slider. Oh, 0-2. No margin for error now. Cubs down to their final out and final strike in a 4-3 game.
And as good a job as Doman's been doing blocking balls in the dirt, now's when you really have to be on your toes if you're Kosuke Fukudome at third base. Gotel could choose to waste a pitch in the dirt here, try to get Marlon Byrd to chase a bad breaker. Got to be ready to run. Instead misses with a fastball just off the outside corner at the knees.
Well, with all that's transpired in this half inning, the Jeff Clement home run off Carlos Marmol looming very large. That made it 4-2 at the time. The first homer Marmol has allowed this year. Swing and a miss. Dotel escapes. And the Pirates are 5-0 against the Cubs this season. The Cubs had the tying run at third with 1 out. But he struck out Terrio and Byrd to end it.
And the fans here at Wrigley Field are in a little bit of shock at what they've just seen.
Well, the GMC player of the game is Ryan Church for what he did at the bat and on defense. At the plate, he knocked in 2 with his double in the first inning. And then later, probably the most important play of the game, he kept the Cubs from tying it in the third inning.
That was a momentum killer, no question about it. Ramirez trying to score from second base on a crisply hit ball to left field, and Church fired a strike to home to cut down Ramirez.
Great work by our entire Comcast Sportsnet crew, led by Bob Albrecht. Good to have Dave Turner back with us, Tamara Anderson as well, and that is going to do it for our game coverage. Stay tuned. Sylvania Postgame Live is coming up. The final score today, the Cubs lose another tight one. Pirates 4, the Cubs 3. Our next Cubs telecast on Comcast Sportsnet will be at 7 o'clock Monday. The Rockies are in for a 2-game series. In-game scoring provided by ScorePad. And now for Bob and our wonderful crew, this is Len Casper. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and stick around. Luke and Todd are coming up.